or good evening, depending if you're on the East Coast to where you might be. I'm Dr. Keith Fairclough. I'm coming in with a live stream. And, as always, my live streams, I try not to be too like overly clinical or anything like that. Kind of just kind of share my mind. But I do also have, clinical perspective and a lens on everything. But without further ado, I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time talking your ear off regarding that. So the reason why I'm hopping on today is because I hopped on to TikTok last night. Not even to look at TikTok. I went to go on it so that I could look at the different messages, business stuff, right? Respond to people, whatever, things like that. And the first thing that comes up on my feed is just someone giving some just really horrible relationship advice, right? Um, and then I scroll, and then there's someone else giving a horrible relationship advice. One guy talking about the most masculine thing or most masculine green flag with that a guy can show a woman is he's going to retire her and within 12 months of being together. I'm like, what kind of foolishness is that? Then I saw another woman. She was talking about why women need to lie to their men. What? Then I saw another guy. This is like back to back. Then I saw another guy talking about how women do absolutely nothing for men at all. In the dating process, and I'm like, oh, gosh. And I listened to him a little bit, and you really have to be able to dig through all of the surface level stuff that he was saying to get down to the root of it. But on the surface, I'm a mental health therapist. I work with couples. I work with relationships. So I can dig through all that. But if you're dealing with someone or talking to someone, a woman who's hurt, and you say don't do nothing for men, like you can look at the comments, and that's the first thing like they were picked up on, right? So the presentation wasn't great. Like deep down, the information he was doing was good, but the presentation wasn't great. So you're going to lose a lot of people that way. And so I also hear stories of women who will, and guys too, who will find these videos and they want to send them to the other person. This is what you need to do, for me, or this is how you need to treat me, or this is so you can better understand me, and things like that. And it's just terrible, terrible, terrible advice. It's terrible advice. And then you might stop and think, if you're a critical thinker, you might be like, well, Keith, hold on now. Time out. In all fairness, you're about to start giving us relationship advice, or you do give us relationship advice. So what makes you any different than them? That's a phenomenal question. And that's exactly what I'm here to answer today, right? Not necessarily defending myself, but I'm giving you some things to look out for, men and women, things to look out for as you're watching these videos. Because I'm here to tell you right now, a lot of these people do not have your best interest at heart. You have to understand a lot of these people, they pick a subject. Like a big thing right now is women creators, campaigning for men. That's a huge thing. And guys flock to women like that or flock to those creators and all their content. And they have thousands and thousands and thousands of views. Let's not pretend that people aren't making money off of all this grief and all this hurt and things like that out there, right? That people aren't making money off of having men and women fight against each other. That people aren't making money off of dysfunction, right? Because they can have their family, they can have their relationship, they can have all their stuff and be happy and live happily ever after. But you could be listening to what they're saying and your whole life is a disaster. Or you get stuck in these negative thought loops, or they stuck in resentment and, oh, I hate men, or women are all this and all that stuff like that. And it's like, is anyone stopping and think like, are these people actually taking anyone from A to Z? Are people actually getting healed? Are people actually becoming whole? Are relationships being cured? Or like what's going on? Are people getting closer together? Are we listening to these people and things getting better? Or are we listening to these people and just getting an echo chamber with a whole bunch of other people in the comments, kind of in the amen section saying, yeah, that's true. Yeah, yada, yada. Like, what are we doing right now? What are they doing? So the whole purpose of this live stream today is to just point out some things that you could look out for to see whether or not whoever you're watching is actually credible or and giving actually really good advice, that can actually help your relationship, or if they're just kind of grift you for money or grift you for views and taking away your time, right? So let's go over it. Right? I have a list here that I'm going to read from. So the first thing the first red flag when it comes to those relationship, or dating influences online, the first red flag is it's always one-sided. And what do I mean by that? They'll never say, hey, to have a healthy relationship, this is what men should do, this is what women should do. No, it's always women, you need to do this, and women need to do that, and men ain't this, and women need to do this, and leave from this person, and do this, and set this, and have this standard, and if he doesn't make this much money, it's always like, it's always one-sided. Ask yourself the question, right? If someone is truly invested in making sure your relationship works, doesn't it make sense that they would address both sides? What kind of therapist would I be if I have husbands and wives, boyfriends and girlfriends, fiancés coming to me, and the only thing I can do, I can only deal with the man or only deal with the woman? That wouldn't make sense, would it? If there's bad behaviors in one person, I should be able to address that and say, hey, this is how you need to fix that, or vice versa. Or you look at these people online, and what do? It's all one-sided. It's always, so that's a red flag right there and then. If you see that whoever you're following or whoever you're listening to is only one-sided and they don't address both pieces of the puzzle, then that's a red flag. That's something you probably shouldn't be listening to, someone you shouldn't be consuming content from. And the comment section is probably not one you want to be in. It's probably going to be an echo chamber. So that's the first red flag you need to keep in mind when you're looking online to see, okay, is this credible information? And let me also say this. Don't just look for someone that, they say something that resonates with you right away, and that's it. Oh, yeah, I'm in with them. Right? Because, yes, people have experiences. Yes, they can say some things that just like, oh, yeah, I've had that experience before. But don't let that one experience, paint the whole picture. Like, because they can relate to me in this one thing, then all of a sudden, then everything is just great. Like, yeah, I'm just going to take everything in. No. We want to be a critical thinker. All right, we're not just talking about consuming content. We're talking about your relationship right now. So you want to make sure, just like you want to put the right stuff in your body, the right gas in your car, right? The right things, the products in your hair, the right stuff on your skin. Like you want to put the right stuff in. You wouldn't just put anything on yourself, in your car. You wouldn't do that. Then you got to make sure you're verifying and finding out, okay, what's really going on, right? So that's the first one. If the person you listen to is only one-sided, that's a red flag. That's probably not someone you want to be pulling information from. All right, the next one. If they only agitate problems and they don't process anything, they don't talk about solving them in a healthy way, then that's probably red flag. You don't need to be listening to that person. If it's just like, yeah, you're carrying the mental load, and it's like for women, you're carrying the mental load and it's so hard and no one understands you and you're crying in the corner and it's just so hard and oh my gosh, and this and this and that and that. And the women are like, yeah. But they don't ever get to, and this is how we fix it in a healthy way. This is how you advocate for yourself. This is how you have boundaries. This is how you teach others how to treat you. This is how you manage your load. This is how you make it so you're not overwhelmed. This is how you create a skip. If they're not moving to some type of solution, then that's probably not someone you want to be following. Yeah, it's great that they get you. Yeah, it's great that they talk to you and they empathize with you and they connect with you and you connect with them. And then you go in the chat and you start connecting with all the other people there. That's great. And again, same thing for guys too. There's a whole sector of guys, the same thing. If it only agitates a problem but does not work to some type of solution, some type of processing, or to get you to the other side where you can be better, leave you some type of tip or hint that helps you to do better, that's a red flag that's probably not someone you need to be listening to. Because guess what? What they're doing is they're playing with your emotions. They get you riled up. And when you get riled up, all of us, it's easy to now guide us where they want us to go, which is probably to buy some type of course or some type of program that's probably not good. Right. So you got to be mindful of this. You got to be watching for this. Again, that's another red flag. if they only agitate problems. I'm not saying if they agitate problems and then have a solution. There's a whole marketing thing behind that. I get it. I understand it. People do it. It's whatever. But sometimes you need to do things like that to get people the help they need. However, they have to have a proper solution on the other side. If they don't have a proper solution on the other side, then that's a problem. Or some type of solution within the video, whatever. They got to give you some type of solution, right? So you're coming to them because they're giving you actual tips and strategies to make your relationship better, to make your dating life better, to put you on the right track. So that's the second red flag. They agitate problems, but they don't ever solve them. All right. The next red flag, there is zero accountability. That is a massive, massive red flag. Let's just say you are following some type of dating professional, some relationship influencer, whatever, and they never, ever, ever, ever hold you accountable. Even if their audience is all men or the audience is all women, if they never hold you accountable, if it's always the other person's fault, if women are all crazy and men are all cheaters and they're just all bad, that's a massive red flag. Wave it in the air that you do not need to be listening to that person. I'm telling you right now, you do not need to be listening to that person, because anyone that has your best interest at heart will hold you accountable. They will hold you accountable. Otherwise, they're enabling bad behavior, and that enabling is going to send you over the cliff. Think about it like this. People who care for you, guess what they do? They warn you of your behaviors and how it's going to affect you if you continue to do those things. So if you're following somebody who's just co-signing your bad behavior, so if you're following some male influencer who's just telling you from jump to be a real man, you need to have a whole bunch of bodies, or that it's okay for you to sleep around and you be cool, but if your woman sleeps around or a woman sleeps around, that's a horrible thing. We're not going to hold you to the same standard. If there's no accountability there, zero, it's just co-signing on bad behavior, massive red flag. Massive red flag. You need to unsubscribe, block them, run from them, delete them from your history, stop sending them. That's a massive red flag. They will send you over the cliff. They are there to destroy you, grift you, destroy you, and send you on your way. People like that are there. I'm going to tell you this right now. They're there to make as much money as they possibly can in the shortest period of time by getting to your emotions, getting into your head, riling you up, draining you, and then they disappear like a fart in the wind, right? So when you see zero accountability, massive red flag, massive, massive, massive red flag, run in the other direction. All right, let's go to the next one. When they normalize dysfunctional behavior. So one of the videos I saw last night, I didn't even watch the whole thing. The first thing that was said, I guess it's supposed to catch you, right? Like, draw you in. I get in the whole hook and marketing, and so, I get all that. All it do is make you go away. So the first thing the woman said was, women need to lie to your men. What are we talking about right now? We know lying is bad behavior. We know that. So why would I listen to someone who's telling me to engage in dysfunctional behavior? If you got some influencer telling you that, yeah, guys, it's okay for you to sleep around and stuff like that, and that's normal, it's part of the male, biology for him to sleep around, and that's why a man can should be able to sleep with all these other women, because women take 9 months to have a baby, but a man can make a whole bunch of babies. And that, if you see someone that's normalizing dysfunctional behavior, run in the other direction. Run. Don't walk. Run. Because that is pure nonsense, garbage, foolishness. Who even says things like that? And why do we listen to people like that? We should be like, no, it's not okay. It's not okay to lie. It's not okay to cheat. Those are bad things. Those are bad things. I shouldn't be doing things like that. It's not okay to hold my emotions in. I shouldn't be doing things like that. It's not okay to not open up and share things with my wife or share things with my husband. That's not okay. So if you see someone that's normalizing dysfunctional behavior, run, run. Because I promise you, they will run you into the ground. And you're going to think you're right. You're going to throw your relationship away because you think you're right. Because some knucklehead online said that, yeah, men, don't share your emotions and hide everything and don't get any help and just struggle alone. And now your wife is gone and she's off with somebody else. And now you out here devastated. And now you back in the same groups talking about women ain't nothing. They just take this and this and da 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 da. Well, maybe if you didn't listen to the fool online saying garbage like that, and maybe if you actually listen to some actual competent people who have evidence-based things and actually can help your relationship and do the work, and you could save your relationship and save your marriage, maybe if you do that instead of listen to the knuckleheads, then maybe you would have saved your marriage and not be stuck, not be alone, hurting, sad, destitute, and all those things like that. Maybe it's critical. Do not ever listen to people who normalize dysfunctional behavior. Okay. Next red flag. Avoid echo chambers. Avoid echo chambers. And what I mean by that, you're just going to a place where thoughts aren't challenged, where, the prevailing idea just runs all through the chat and no one's engaged in any kind of discussion on, okay, how to actually do this the right way. If it's just a whole bunch of amens down the line and this stuff, like that's a problem. Unless whoever you're listening to is giving good stuff, right? So if they're giving good stuff and then everyone's like, yeah, we all come together and yeah, this is good stuff. Oh yeah, great. Makes sense. Perfect. That's fine. But we're talking about when you see the bad stuff, like you see the dysfunctional behavior, you see the content and you hear some things. And I want you guys, please be mindful while you're listening to these things. Do not just doom scroll aimlessly and allow this to pour into your head. Right? I need you to just be a little more mindful. And as you're being mindful, this is what I need you to do. Just stop and think a little bit about what they're saying. Think about, okay, this place, like, is all this true? Is all this accurate? Is there some other part I don't necessarily believe? Does some of this stuff not line up with what I believe and what I stand for? Like, avoid being in an echo chamber. And this is critical because I'm going to tell you this right now. A lot of times we watch people and they get us in these echo chambers and we stay in these echo chambers. What ends up happening is, especially if you have resentment or bitterness or hurt or trauma or anything like that, and you get in an echo chamber, you retell yourself the same story over and over again. You relive the trauma and the hurt and the resentment and the pain. You relive it over and over and over again. And every swipe and every video, it's the same thing. So you're actually re-injuring yourself and hurting yourself and damaging yourself over and over and over again when you stay in these echo chambers. If it's an echo chamber, get out, get out, get out. All right. Very, very important, right? Because those echo chambers are only going to reinforce bad things. And again, obviously, if it's good content that you're watching and it's everyone in there being supportive and things like that, then by all means, right? Obviously, I'm going to tell you to go with a good group. But I'm saying if you're not in a good group and you see the dysfunction, you need to get out and don't stay in there. Even if it resonates, even if they're talking about some things that might mean something to you or connect with you, get out, get out, get out, get out. All right. Okay. Next red flag of those dating influencers and relationship influencers online. They always push the victim mentality. You're never wrong. Again, accountability, zero accountability, kind of ties into that. You're never wrong. It's all this stuff that happened to you. You're the victim. She took you for everything you were worth. He was just horrible to you. You just did so much. You were such a great guy and you were such a great woman and all this, and they were just so bad. When they push that victim mentality, run in the other direction. Run in the other direction. Speaking as someone who's come from having difficulties in marriage to have a phenomenal marriage now, because we did the work. I look back and I never forget. My wife asked me a question. We were having a conversation, and she asked me a question. She said, what are the things that I was doing back then, back in the day, that made you think and feel the way that it kind of created the thought process and the beliefs about me that you have about me now? And I told her, I'll be 100% honest, babe. I couldn't even tell you. because there's no way I could go back into my history now knowing I got to take accountability for my behaviors and then go back and objectively say, you did this and you did that. I can't do it. It's impossible. I cannot do it because I know for sure I was a disaster back then. I didn't know how to process my emotions. I didn't know how to communicate. I didn't know how to regulate myself. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. None of it. So for me to sit back as if I'm just some type of victim, like, oh, my wife was just so horrible and all that, but without taking any accountability on my part to know what I did. And I know some of the things that I did that were dysfunctional back then. So I can't look at myself as some type of a victim or anything along those lines. So I can't get behind any influencer who's going to try to make you think that you're a victim. And that's another thing as well. If they're pushing the victim mentality on you, what they're pushing on you is removing all of your power. Victims have no power. That's the whole thing about a victim. Yeah, we understand that. Victims don't have power. That's why they're victims. If they had power, they wouldn't be victims. But when they push this victim mentality on you, again, it stirs up the emotions and it gets them to lead you wherever they want you to go. So if you're following an influencer, a dating influencer, or a relationship influencer who's pushing that victim mentality, stop following them. Stop listening to them. And as always, run in the other direction. Don't listen to people like that. Anyone who's going to take your power away is not someone you need to be listening to. You need to be listening to people who are going to encourage you, empower you, tell you how to work through your relationship, tell you about the hard times they went through, tell you how they got through it, so you can start learning from them, so you can start fixing your relationship, you can start fixing your dating life, right? That's what you want to be looking for. But if it's not that, if it's victim mentality, run the other direction. Because if someone's trying to make you a victim, that means they're trying to control you. So run the other direction. You can use that for anyone and anywhere, actually, but topic for another time. All right. Another one, they're always on extreme ends. They're always on the extremes. Right? This is another red flag. If they're pushed all the way to this side or all the way to that side, and it's like men and women, men are like this and they need to be like, women like that. And, you need to just do this to women and do that to men. And if they're all these extremes, these far, far, far extremes, go the other direction. Run, leave. Don't listen to them. Erase their videos. Stop sending their videos. All that. Don't do that. Just don't. Right? Why? Because we know that we don't live on the extremes. This world will put you on the extremes because when they do that, that's how they're able to manipulate and control you. Right? They get you all riled up. Same thing happens in politics. They push you to they push us to the extremes. Right? And it's easier to control people when they're on the extremes, because when you're on the extremes, you're all riled up and you're emotional and you're not thinking. So these people, these relationship and dating, gurus online or whatever that do that, that's the goal. You have to understand they're not trying to do the fair thing, a good thing. This isn't about saving your relationship. It's not about getting you into a relationship for many of them. For many of them, you know what it is? I'm just trying to make some money. I don't care how many people I hurt. I don't care how many people I grift. I don't care. I don't care. This sounds great. I was watching a Ray Williams Johnson video. He does like true crime stuff, and it was a short. And it was a short I seen a while ago. But there was this guy. I don't know what his name was, but he was talking about this guy who just gets online and just dogs out women. Then there was this video that someone showed where this kid came up to him, was like, "Oh my gosh," like 13-year-old kid. Like, "Oh my gosh, you're my hero, whatever, right?" And he started saying, F women, ha ha ha, F women. And the guy was like, whoa, yeah, no, don't do that. Like, don't do that. Why didn't he double down? Why didn't he say, yeah, F women? Why didn't he say that? Because he didn't believe it. It's to get clicks and views and likes and shares and TV spots and all that stuff like that. It's to make money. It's not about that. You think he's telling, if he has a girlfriend or a wife, you think he's telling her that? Absolutely not. She knows the grit. She knows the game. And a lot of these people, these relationship and dating influencers, they have relationships and they don't live by it. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so I'm going to talk about that in a second. But long story short, if you see them on the extremes, if there's no middle ground, if there's no coming to understanding, if there's no, if there's nothing like that, then guess what? Stop following them. That's not how it's supposed to be at all. We don't live on the extremes. That's not reality. We don't live on the extremes. That is not reality. But they'll make it seem like it is. So that's another red flag. All right. So the next red flag, all right, that whatever they're saying is not rooted in any evidence-based research or practice, right? If they're just shooting stuff, there should have some type of something, right? Some type of research to back up what they're saying. Something. Right? Even if they've taken things from research, and I'll use myself as an example. So I statements have been practiced in research, right? That stuff has listening skills, things of that nature, right? Journaling, daily gratitude, blah, 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 all that stuff. That's all been in research, right? So I might take it and repackage it in my own style, like yes, sir, or a daily gratitude workbook or whatever. I might repackage it, but it's all grounded in something. Someone did research and said, hey, when you do gratitude, it does this to you. Or when you use and you listen this way, it does this. Or if you remove the 4 horsemen from your relationship, it makes it like there's research to back up anything that I'm saying and anything that I'm doing, right? So you need to be asking these people, and I'm not, and listen, we live in a day and age where information is easy to get. It's easy to get. You could simply take what they're saying and search it up. Hey, is it really the most masculine thing to want to retire a woman in 12 months? Is that a massive, green flag? Is that research say that? Or is lying to your man, is that actually the best way to have a relationship? Or is cheating on your woman, is that the best way to keep things spicy? Or just search it up. Just search it up. I'm not even saying you got to read the whole article and look through all the data and stuff like that. Just search it up. Find a little abstract, a little outlet that just talks about a summary of the research regarding whatever it is they're talking about. That's it. Just do that. If it's grounded in research, but it's like, yep, this is something, this is a strategy that works, and this has helped these people, and this is incorporated in this kind of therapy style or whatever the case may be, phenomenal. Keep following them, right? Maybe there's rough around the edges or whatever the case may be, but if they're telling you something that's actually rooted in research and it actually works and it makes people's lives better and improves their relationships and things like that, and by all means, but make sure it's rooted in something, rooted in evidence-based research. We live in a day and age where technology is that information is easy to find. Technology is easy to use. Information is easy to find. But if they're just making stuff up, just saying whatever they want to say, doing whatever they want to do with nothing to back it up, that's a red flag. You need to leave. You need to run away. Close it out. Erase the videos. Undo the saves. All that, right? Because it's not helping. It's not helping at all. All right, is the last red flag. There's probably other red flags, but this is the last red flag. This last red flag, whoever the creator is, they don't practice what they preach. And there's very little, if any, transparency on how they operate, right? And what they do in their life. Very little transparency. Right? So you always have to ask yourself the question, do you drink your own Kool-Aid? And this could be across the board. Because if it works, like you say it works, and it's so great, and it's how you solved your problems, then you should be using it. If you're not using it, then why would I use it? Why are you pushing something that you don't even use yourself? So I always tell my clients, I drink my own Kool-Aid. The things that I'm telling my clients are the things that I do. The listening skills, the communication skills, the love languages, all that stuff, the dream building, sharing spirituality, all that stuff are things that I do, right? And if I'm not doing it, I'm not telling you I do it. These people you need to check and look and see, are these people following the stuff that they're saying? There's a lot of these relationship coaches and relationship, gurus and dating coaches, all that stuff like that. You have to ask yourself the question, are you married? Are you married? Well, and then someone could say, well, Keith, you don't have to be married. But if you're saying that this works, if you're telling me if I listen to you and if I listen to you, I'll be married, then unless you don't want to be married, which I guess maybe you would go into a field and not want to be married, but then teach people how to be married. I guess. But you should be in a marriage where you're doing what you're saying you're doing. You know, I'll give you a perfect example. And this would be a shout out to Ernest Epps because he helped me build my business credit. But this man put his money where his mouth was. Literally. He said, I help you build business credit. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you and run through the exact same thing that I've done. And I'm going to show you how to do it. Right. And I'm going to show you not just previous people that I've worked with and things like that. Not just that. No, I'm going to literally build it with you over the time of this course. The same things I'm telling you are the same things I'm going to do. And you're going to see how this all plans out. Man, put his money where his mouth was. Man, in the session where he was getting the recruiting and whatnot, the man pulled out the whole thing of credit cards. The man had a freaking boatload of credit cards. I'm sold on it. That's all I need to know. You actually practice what you preach. And there's the evidence. And that's the thing. And there's the evidence. But if they're not practicing what they preach, if they're talking about, and I won't say names, but if you're talking about how, all these women are 304s, but yet you're sleeping with 304s, or you're talking about how single moms are just there for recreation and fun, but yet you are dating a single mom with kids, right? I mean, obviously single mom, kids, it goes hand to hand, but if you're talking about, oh my gosh, you need to know your value and know your worth and but you don't got no ring on your finger. You ain't got no relationships. You ain't got no prospects, but you out here trying to tell everybody else, yeah, I'm not going to follow that. I need to see the proof in the pudding. I need to see the proof in the pudding. That's what I need to see. There should be transparency. There should be stores. There should be something. Right? There should be some substance, something there to say that, yeah, I do this too. I'm not just selling you, this dream, but I do it too. There was a time when courses really, popped up and people were renting Lamborghinis and renting big houses and running ads and making it seem like, yeah, I became this multi-millionaire doing this. And if you take my course, mind you didn't make a dime. You didn't make a dime off the stuff you're talking about. Not a dime. That's called a grift. That's what that's called. You're out here to steal people's money, right? You should be living by what you're preaching. You should be living by the things you're saying in your video. There should be evidence to back that up. So that's the last red flag. There's probably other red flags as well. These are the things that kind of came to mind right before, I got on. But ultimately, listen, just be very careful about who you're following online. Be very careful. Mind you, listen, hey, check my stuff too, right? Listen, I practice what I preach. I live by it, and everything I said today. If you look on my channel, you're going to see I talk to men. I talk to women when it comes to relationships, right? I do actually have stuff just for men on another note, but that's different. But I'm talking about the relationship stuff. I think it was in 2024, I think towards the end of the year and into the beginning of the next 2025. I made a whole series of short videos on strategies for men in a relationship and strategies for women in a relationship, right? Both sides. Check it out. All there to empower you, all there to encourage you. You can find it on pretty much probably all my streaming things, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, suits your fancy. But yeah, you can find all that stuff there, right? And if anything pops up, listen, if you have any questions about anything, on any of those things, please reach out. Let me know. Right? If you're like, yeah, Keith, I saw this, but, or you said that. And yeah, no, I have no problem answering anything. And if there's something I say is wrong, please believe I can go back and address that. Absolutely go back and address that. So I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. But yeah, be very, very careful about what you consume. Be very careful, because if you consume the wrong content, it's going to warp your mind. It's going to warp your behavior. It's going to have you acting out of character, doing things out of character. It's just not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for your relationship. You're going to live hurting and alone, when it's all said and done. And there's going to be no one there for you in that moment, right? And these people that you've been listening to, they're not going to be able to do anything for you. So Long story short, guys, be very careful about the content you consume. Please keep these things in mind. And also, last thing, last thing. I'm gonna sign off with this. Be careful about sending videos to your significant other. I know this has nothing to do with the red flags and things like that, but there can be a trend where you see this video and you want to send it to your significant other. A couple of things that are wrong with that. One, chances are if you're sending a video to your significant other, your communication with each other is terrible. I can almost guarantee it to a T that if I have to find a random video and send it to you to explain what's going on, your communication is probably horrible, right? And then and this is why, because when you send that video to the other person, you think they're going to be, how many times have they taken it and been like, oh, you know what, babe, you're right. Oh my gosh, I see it now. How many times did that actually happen? How? You know, it's one number only. Zero. Zero. How do they take it? You're trying to say I'm not enough. You're trying to say I'm messing up. You're trying to find some type of criticism. No, it's not that. And now you're in another fight. And you might be thinking, but Keith, I'm just trying to save my relationship. I'm trying to help. Listen, that's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. If you have issues like that, I strongly suggest counseling, something along those lines. I know there's coaching out there as well, but you got to be careful. I mean, you got to be careful with counseling too, because unfortunately, there's some counselors out there that bring their own mess into therapy, and then they push their mess and transference, and they push that onto the relationship and the line, and it could be messy. So you don't want that. You don't want that. If you can find good, reputable counselors, or a good coach that has a proven track record of success, then by all means, go get that work, get that fixed. Everyone has their own different approaches. I know there's a guy online. He's like a relationship coach. His name's Adam Lane. He focuses heavily on attachment theory, right? Me, I focus heavily on communication. But we both get results, right? So just find somebody, and attachment theory is grounded in evidence-based research. Communication is grounded in evidence-based research. Let's put that out there. Maybe I'm gonna sell myself a little bit, but in any case, don't go to these grifters for help. Find someone who's reputable. Find someone who can help you. I will say this, obviously, if you don't, well, I won't say obviously, but if you don't know about, Doctors John and Julie Gottman, they're like the foremost experts in the world when it comes to relationships, them and the people that they work with. I think like Sue Johnson, and then there's Sue Johnson. There's I can't think of the guy's name right now. But they have also other people they work with the world that are also experts in the field of relationships. But I say specifically the Gottmans because they actually have Gottman trained therapists. So you can go to their website and search it up, and you have people trained in the Gottman method, all evidence based, everything like that can help you with that. Right. I have some training in it, but I'm definitely not a Gottman. I cannot say I'm a Gottman therapist. Right. I have training in it. I've read books and things like that, and I definitely use a lot of the strategies, but I'm not Gottman trained in that sense. I can't claim that. But I do work with relationships as well. So I will say this: if you're in Florida, if you're in Nevada, and if you're looking to fix your relationship, if you're looking to get good strategies and good health and things of that nature, please reach out. Let me know. You go to any of my socials, you'll find out. There's always ways to contact me. I'm very, very easy to find. And we can get it cracking as far as that's concerned. Whether and if you're outside of well, I won't put that out there yet. I got to create that. I'm just keep in mind, I'm going to be starting doing relationship coaching soon and having classes and workshops for couples and things like that that are outside of therapy. Right. So, but I don't want to just give you a preview. We'll get to that soon enough. But yeah, I'm here to help you guys. I want the best for you guys. I want your relationships to thrive. It's really sad that a lot of relationships end not because you're bad people, but because you just can't communicate. You can't connect. You're misunderstood. And it's so sad. It's so sad, because if we could just get that communication part down and start getting us to understand one another and listen to one another and empathize with one another and validate and understand and accept, you would see your relationship, bloom, thrive, do so well, be so connected, be so in love, even if it's been buried for a long time, but yes, it does take work. That's another thing as well. I don't offer any, quick fixes. right? Come to me and I'll have you guys, up and going in 2 weeks and you'll be fine. Like that's not reality, right? It's just not, so, but if you're willing to put the work in, if you're willing to do the assignments, if you're willing to, do the work, that I will guarantee your relationship will improve. But that's the critical part. And I say this to all of my couples. The ones that do the best are the ones that do the work. The ones that watch the videos, the ones that look at the slides, the ones that do the worksheets, the ones that practice the skills. Those are the ones that do the best. The ones that have a hard time growing and getting better are the ones that don't. The ones that just kind of come to therapy and they don't do anything in the meantime. And I understand there's life and, the kids and work and stuff like that. But we're talking about your relationship. You have to prioritize your relationship. It is that important. Your husband should be the most important person in the world to you. Your wife should be the most important person in the world to you. Like that, it should be. So that needs to be the priority. Everything else can fall behind that, except God. God would be first. Yeah. But then God would say, you guys need to make sure on earth you guys are doing each other first, and then everything else can, come together after that. But long story short, guys, yeah. If you're seeking relationship help, I'm here. There's lots of other people that are here as well that are here to really see your relationship succeed and thrive. But please, 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 just don't let these grifters, don't let them destroy you. Don't let them destroy your wallet. Don't let them destroy your relationship. Don't let them be living high on the hog and living in, an ivory tower while you're out here suffering and alone and struggling in the dating game and the dating pool is getting worse and worse. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. You deserve more than that. You deserve better than that. So in any case, guys, I'm going to sign off. Y'all take care. Have a great, awesome, and blessed day. And remember, you are not alone.